Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to Mother Mary's Spiritual Garden. Coming to you today with the topic of whose report are you going to believe? We have choices. God gives us a choice, and the enemy does too. God shows us in his choice what will happen, and the enemy persuades us in a lot of ways. Peter walked on that water. Jesus told him to come. He wanted to come. Whether he wanted to see if Jesus would really do it, whether he wanted to believe Jesus for his next, whatever the reason, Jesus told him to come. He got out of the boat. He put his feet on that water and he walked. He may not have walked a half a block, but he walked. Then when the circumstances was all around him, and see, this is the problem with a lot of us. Circumstances arrived. The sea road was boisterous. The wind was blowing. But Jesus was still there. He was walking until what? He took his eyes off of Jesus and saw everything that was going around. So he was believing for a while, but then he looked away and he didn't believe. Whose report are we going to believe? When Jesus is telling us, but we see all the negative and all the things that are happening, who are we going to believe? The woman with the issue of blood. She had an issue for 12 long years. This is an issue that was in her body. She had paid the doctors to help her. She had looked for all kind of relief, but then she found Jesus. She heard about him. And she believed in her heart, this is someone that can help me. So how did she prove who she was going to believe? She made her way through that crowd. Now, it was a lot of people there, but she made her way. She said, I don't need to ask him. I don't need to do a lot of things. I'm just going to touch the hem of his garment. She believed Jesus' report. She believed what she heard about Jesus. She believed what Jesus has done. And that's why she was healed. Whose report are we going to believe? Are we going to look around at the circumstances that's happening in this world and say, wow, we can't do this. We can't live like this. And when God has told us to come unto him and I will give you rest. We've got to believe on God. We've got to believe the report that God will help us. We've got to believe that his word is true. And we've got to believe his report because he's the one that's going to make things right for us. He's the one that saved us, went to the cross and saved us. He's the one, Jesus is the one that did these things. I'm believing the report, positive report. I'm believing his report. I'm not going to believe, although Satan tries and he'll come up and put things in my mind, and I know he can't read my mind, but he put things in my mind and watches for my reaction. But you know what? No, devil. I'm believing God's report. I'm believing he's going to work this thing out for me. I'm believing he's going to make things go through, and I'm going to trust him. So whose report are you going to believe? Believe God. All that he said and do, believe God. And so we can be with him in the end. Pray for one another, love one another, and forgive one another. In Jesus' name.